Breathe there and you fuck.
Oh, Christ. Why is this always not turned down? Alright, hello people. Today we're playing, well, sort of, as I pre-recorded it, Batman Arkham Knight. And now I wanted to start it off as being a sort of, brooding, cool, looking out on the rooftops. But for some fucking stupid reason, the game decided not to start recording when I was telling it, even though, as you'll tell when I've uploaded this, that it's not quite 60 minutes. So instead it started recording me mid-flight.
That's still pretty cool.
Yeah, but
Swooping in to expand the minds of our audience.
Yeah. So we'll just be playing Batman Arkham Knight for a bit, which is probably the third weakest of the Arkham trilogy. And I'll just be, fucking around, basically.
Alright, explain to me what the fuck just happened.
This is just a side mission where you play as Azrael. And Azrael's one of the side characters in the Batman mythos who's... no. It's been a while since I've played this game, so let me try and remember it. Azrael's was a criminal, I think. Either that or a corrupt cop or something. Either that or he was a cop. No, I think I'm confusing Spectre there.
Right. I was just confused by the fact that we weren't Batman anymore.
Yeah, well, in this game, Azrael's sort of taken the place, or is trying to become Batman's successor. Because in this game, Batman's sort of, on the way out, sort of thing.
So is this Arkham Asylum?
No, this is Arkham Knight.
Arkham, alright, so yeah.
That
would explain why I don't recognise fucking anything.
Yeah, this is Arkham City.
Yep.
But, this is Gotham, but yeah.
Yeah.
And so, he's sort of, Batman's sort of on his way out, and so Azrael's like, oh, hey, I'll take up your mantle. But it's sort of implied later on that the people Azrael's sort of working for have underhanded tactics.
See, that's his first mistake. He's working for someone.
Yeah.
Batman works for himself.
And sort of Batman still thinks Azrael is a worthy successor, but then Azrael sort of goes, oh, I might not be worthy. Because he's got these implanted memories, and he's sort of brainwashed to a degree. And so Azrael goes off to sort of deal with his inner demons. And this whole thing here is just, you got to try and get up a certain amount of combos without getting hit.
Right, I would fail horribly at that.
Yeah, I know.
Mind you, this game I think is marginally more responsive than, say, Mad Max, which shits me because you click the counter attack and then you get punched in the back of the head.
Well, Batman was all those types of games. Really, Batman Arkham Asylum was the game that sort of
spurred that stuff.
Yeah, the prototype was Arkham Asylum, or the first game that did it, and all these games recently have sort of just copied it. It's sort of that sort of thing that sort of starts it, like Devil May Cry was sort of the game that sort of started off the hack and slash S ranking sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And most games after that will sort of take that, like even God of War. But the thing is, Devil May Cry started that, and then God of War took it, because God of War has the whole, styling system, and as you beat up people, you get a certain amount of rating.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any purpose in the game, whereas later games will steal the God of War, but God of War stole it from Devil May Cry.
Yeah, right, so you got this sort of lost in translation kind of filter down the line. Yeah. Yeah. But not the new God of War.
No, new God of War's stealing it off The Last of Us.
Yeah. It's just fucking awesome. I'm just saying.
But The Last of Us
took
their stuff from Resident Evil 4. Because Resident Evil 4
Yeah.
was sort of the
Had
beginner
the-
of that
yeah,
sort
okay.
of over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. It was sort of the...
And with the assistant, kind of, as well. You got the second person.
Yeah.
'Cause in this one, you got the kid, and then, yeah, that one you had the sidekick.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh, I can't think of the right word, but yeah, Resident Evil was sort of the baby of that.
Yeah. Cool.
And everything sort of built up to that, and then The Last of Us, and then God of War. So it's always, you can always sort of trace it back. But Devil May Cry was the first in the sort of hack and slash series, and Resident Evil 4 was the first in the third person over the shoulder series.
Yeah.
Interestingly, as well, is that Resident Evil 4 that Devil May Cry was supposed to be Resident Evil 4, so it all sort of links in.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, you wonder how many times, though, like, given that, you know, all these game developers, you know, they're all working in the same industry, they're all going to have similar kind of...
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of ideas in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many times do they get halfway through a game and then realise that, you know, the other guys have already are doing exactly the same thing, and they're like, oh, fuck, come on, man! Like, now we have to change it.
Well, there's only so many, like, personalities, human personalities in the world. Like, you'll always find people that have similar personalities to yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll then go, well, these people are bound to think up the same ideas, which is why it's always interesting for people to complain about someone stealing your idea.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, if someone's bound, like, it's not like you're the only person ever in the entire history of the world, future and past,
Yeah.
to have ever come up with this concept.
Yeah, that's right. Our
And
brains
so-
all sort of fundamentally work in the same way, so it ain't no big surprise.
That someone else comes up with the same idea.
Yeah,
And it just sort of, they might post it on, you know, the internet, or have it proposed in a meeting.
I always
Around
work
the
off
same
that
time.
basis anyway. I'm like, I've got an idea, I say to my darling wife. I go, so that means it's probably on YouTube. So I go, so I go do a research and see how much other people have failed and see whether it's worth my while.
Well, that's
Yeah.
sort of the thing with nowadays, is that we don't have, and because so many things have been done and there are so many people, we don't really have that many brand new ideas at the moment. We're sort of at this idea stalemate, sort of. Everything's sort of just nothing's sort of brand new. Everything's sort of just an improved version of something else that has already been invented.
Well, I suppose that's just how human history actually has always been. I was actually thinking about that this morning on my drive. I was thinking about how much people in general have not changed. Like, from looking at graffiti and stuff in ancient civilizations and stuff, and the fact that we still look at, like, Greek philosophers and Roman emperors and stuff and go, shit, this guy is speaking truth, man. Like, I know what he's on about here. Wow, I never thought of that. And you're like, this happened how many fucking hundreds of years ago? like thousands of years ago? It just shows that, you know, when you read, like, Viking graffiti of, you know, Bjorgnak the Red was here. Like, it just, they have not changed. All that has happened is that we've progressively built on our ideas and become more technologically advanced. But basically, on a personal level, I think that other than the language, if you went back in time, you'd fit in just fucking fine.
Yeah. Well, that's like this thing that I saw the other day about, I can't remember the name, but it has a special name, about all these different textbooks, or all these different books, or manuscripts probably is a better word, in these sort of libraries and monk temples and stuff. And in the margins, they have all these weird drawings of these weird creatures and stuff. And that's what all these monks and doodled in the margins. And you'd see this dude like firing dicks out of a bow, or just these bunch of nuns picking penises out of a dick tree.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what they spent their spare time. It's like, they were so much more. They had so much more charisma back in that, or they were so much more dignified back then than sitting there doodling a dick tree.
Yeah, that's right. And like, I think we were talking a while back about the graffiti found in Egypt, and there was a particular case of Pharaoh Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut was actually a woman, and just basically said, "All right, I'm a man. Get the fuck over it. I'm Pharaoh now. Get over it." Basically, and dressed as a man, etc. And
yeah, so not I'm a man, get over it. I'm Pharaoh.
I'm Pharaoh, yeah, but
treat
like
me as
she wore like the Pharaoh beard and stuff, like was depicted as such in the get-up, and dressed as a pharaoh and everything, but by all accounts had a sexual relationship with her advisor.
Yeah,
and that was reflected in the graffiti of they found in like these places of just Hatshepsut taking cock, basically, you know, and you're like, no, it just has not changed. You know, you go into the public bathroom and you see pictures of our Prime Minister being rogered or whatever. Like, it's exactly the same. It's never changed.
Well, that's what we were saying with the dinosaur video. Is that, you know, in comparison, we haven't been on this earth for very long, so our evolution wouldn't be that sort of. That's right. Far.
Yeah. Like we've had. Very little physical evolutions and very little, mental evolution.
Probably fucking cave paintings of some fucking caveman buggering of Sabretooth or something like that.
Fucking probably. Yeah. But I mean, I suppose when you consider that at each sort of stage of civilization, there's very often the same amount of sort of mental challenge around. Except for it seems less like it now because we've got more population. You know what I mean? Like we've probably actually got way more brilliant thinkers now than we ever have, and they're probably doing really super complex stuff. But it always seemed like we had more geniuses back in the day with various philosophers and scientists and stuff.
I'm because there was more things to have been invented.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. Is there? There's always a challenge, and that reminds me of a quote that from Neil deGrasse Tyson that I got the other day. That was, as your circle of knowledge expands, so does the circumference of your ignorance. So the fact the more you learn, the more you realize you do not know.
That was just a wordy fucking way of saying that.
No, that is a normal way of saying it. It's not a word. That's actually the most succinct way of saying it, Will. The most succinct.
No, I think
less words.
I think the way you described it.
Okay.
The more you know, the more you know, the more you realize, the less you know.
Yeah.
Is more succinct than the way Neil deGrasse Tyson described it.
The more shit you know, the more shit you realize you don't know.
Yeah, that's better.
Alright, okay. Okay. That may be more succinct, but it sounds way less pretty.
I don't care.
Yeah. You're not a pretty man.
I'll have you know.
It's true, you are pretty. Your hair's looking very nice and shiny and stuff. It's mostly the grease, but anyway.
I'm not a pretty boy, but I do have that sort of manly ruggedness.
Yeah, pretty boy is definitely not you.
No,
but you do have nice eyes.
Thanks, man.
Oh, look at those eyelashes. Okay.
The viewers can't see. The listeners can't see that, but I could. Oh, it's like batting my eyelids like a supermodel.
I love pissing women off like that. Like, look how long and dark my eyelashes are.
Have you had your women complaints like, oh, look at you asshole, and you haven't even had to use your fucking eyeliners or anything, you dick.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good.
That being said, the amount of women that I know...
Holy fuck me, Jesus, that would be a hell of a ride. Batman. Gee. Anyway, yep.
The amount of women that use the phrase "suck my cock" is probably like men don't use it as much.
I think it's good. It's refreshing.
Yeah, but how sick is that though? Like, how sick is this sort of like flying around stuff? And then this is the only game. This is like the last game in the series. There's no more Batmans.
We need to.
You can still go back and
quick
play these games.
Let's write an epic fantasy novel or illustrated novel for them to turn into a computer game.
See, I would like that, but I mean, I've got one idea, but it's sort of more Last of Us Berserk.
Yeah, we'll just make a side character in that story that can then
That
be
can
turned
glide.
into another character that can have their own story. We use it as a stepping stone. Oh, boom! Like how Batman's not pulling punches in this game.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
like just bang, you're dead.
Oh
Shoot him.
man, how did they describe it? It's non-lethal rounds.
Oh, okay. Yes, the fucking.
That being
he just
said-
got shot in the spine and thrown off his feet. That motherfucker wishes he was dead.
That being said, man, okay, I'll see. It's just like that.
Didn't kill the criminal, but young Miss Jones on her way home from working at the hospital.
Well, supposedly everyone in the town at the moment are criminals. Because
Oh.
all the innocent people have been evacuated because Scarecrow decided to unleash a
It was just
fear gas.
that was a sedate criminal driving, abiding to the road rules.
Well, sort
You
of.
mowed him down.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Huh? Oh, hey, buddy. What you doing? Huh?
Doing some jaywalking.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh, man, I saw a video.
Oh, you didn't look before you crossed the road. Wow!
I saw a video of a black guy jaywalking the other day, and this cop just beat the shit out of him. It was not cool.
That is rough.
Yeah, and then it called in backup, and 8 cops turned up. I fucking wish that happened the day when I fucking got robbed.
Yeah.
Fucking seem to care more about that.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Well, there was a story that has been floating around the social circle that supposedly someone in our social circle knew, who had some group of a couple of Aboriginal youths break into his garage and phone the police, and a half hour later the police weren't there and the youths were still rifling through his garage, so he phoned them back and said, "Don't worry, I just shot him." And then in 10 minutes there was cops all over his lawn and they arrested the kids. But I mean, he would have got in shit for it as well, but I mean, it just shows to go,
Yeah, they just don't care.
yeah. And for other people that are listening to this is Armidale, New South Wales.
Yeah, this is in America.
The cops weren't preoccupied with 5 other homicides or anything. That shit doesn't happen. Well, not usually. Actually, some guy just got stabbed in the neck in Armidale.
They
last
just
week.
didn't want to have to deal with a bunch of Aboriginal kids.
Yeah.
That's making me sound racist.
Well,
But I did have my shit stolen, so I'm a little bit upset.
yeah.
Not to say that they were all white, all black, but they were all scum. Is more to the point.
Yeah. A group of scum youths, some of
Group
which
of
may
filthy
have been,
maggots.
may have been of Aboriginal descent.
Okay, I am okay with the death penalty.
Well, we've gone from petty theft to death penalty. Yep.
Okay, well, and I have friends who aren't a fan of the death penalty, but I think for stealing a man's swords, yeah. Well, that, and I'm sort of on the fence there of, if you've got career criminals who just seeing me. Wait for it.
Oh shit! Son.
Oh no, but they're okay. That was non-lethal.
Yeah, that was a non-lethal fucking
Car explosion.
If that was like a sandbag round, that was a sandbag the size of a 44-gallon drum. Just punched the car into oblivion.
Well, actually, I think I actually just rammed the car.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm doing here.
I thought you hooked out your gun at the last minute. Yeah, that
No.
sucker. Yeah, right. Whoa!
But yeah, and you got, these criminals who got 20 life sentences, so they're never getting out of prison. There's only so much good behaviour could get you.
Yeah, and they're just basically a societal drain.
They're they just refuse to do any better or anything. You're just why the fuck would you keep them around?
And half of the fuckers are still doing business, but from inside. Just about every fucking big criminal that gets out of prison then turns around and writes a book about all the shit that they or their buddies were doing in prison.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, it does go to show that prison isn't effective. There are places, usually around the Swedish Europe area, that have these more correctional facilities instead of prisons, and the correctional facilities seem to have an 80% sort of rehabilitation rate.
Yeah.
And
we've got one near Glen Innes.
It does sort of show that prison doesn't work.
Well, yeah. That's been sort of like that for ages, but in America, they've just turned prison into slave labour. That's all it is. That they literally use them for production labour. Yeah. Yeah.
It is despicable. Because it's not about helping people or fixing it up. It's just about
no. And some of them are in there for such petty crimes, and then what's his face? Dick Knob, second in charge in America, wants to
Mike Pence.
Wants to make it prisonable offence for marijuana use.
Yeah.
Well,
that's because America
we need to be more harsh.
America has the 3-strike rule.
Yeah.
Which is, you can murder people. You can get done for murdering people, and then get let off or whatever. But it doesn't matter how petty or small your third crime is.
Yeah, you're in jail.
Yeah, you're in jail for ages, basically.
Yeah.
So you could basically murder 2 people, or you murder someone and then murder someone again, and then you'll be out and all the rest of it. Even though I don't know why you'd be out. It's probably not the best way to describe it as murdering someone, but that's just, let's just say that's a pretty severe crime. And then on your 3rd strike, you steal a bag of chips.
Yeah.
And that's it. Life in jail.
Yeah, the idea is basically that they're just for way petty crimes they want to put people in jail to use them for a bit of slave labour. And but they don't have the capacity for more people in prison over there as it is.
Oh, they just build more prisons. Using the money they got from all these other prisons to build more prisons.
Oh, I see where this shit's going. I see. For a start, we're already playing a game where they walled off a city and turned it into a prison, right?
Well, that was the second game, but yeah, you're on the same. You're on.
Yeah. So, and we've already seen movies such as Escape from LA, and I think there's even Escape from New York. I hope you've seen that, because if you haven't, you're letting down the team.
I haven't, so.
Oh, it's an amazing movie. Escape from LA, and for some reason I can't remember the name of the actor, which is a shame because I don't like him.
Okay, just
Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell.
Just a sec.
All right.
You missed a bit there, but little trivia. There, to the left.
Yeah.
Is the Lex Luthor building, who is a Superman villain.
Yeah.
Because Lex Luthor was trying to buy stuff from Wayne Enterprises and was doing a merger and stuff. So Lex Luthor has businesses or affiliations. Yeah, in Gotham City.
Yeah.
Just like Batman has affiliations in Metropolis.
Yeah.
Batman, I think Bruce Wayne actually owns the building and apartment that Clark Kent works and lives in.
Ha! That's funny.
But yeah, what were you saying? Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah, Kurt Russell. So anyway, basically, the premise of those movies is that the cities go so much to shit in the future that they just turn the whole thing into a prison. But of course, the president's daughter gets kidnapped by one of the gangs running rife in there, and he has to. And as the criminal, they select him to go and get the president's daughter.
I have seen some movies with Kurt Russell playing that sort of Snake Plissken role.
Yeah, that's what those movies are from.
Oh, okay.
Snake Plissken is from.
So I have seen them then.
Yeah, and they're amazing. Like so bad, but so amazing.
I suspect I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect that the main character from the Metal Gear Solid series is based on Snake Plissken. Yeah.
Well, it's got the same haircut.
And the eye patch and all the rest.
Yeah. It is beautiful. But
and they've got that same sort of terrible story.
Yeah.
But sort of B grade terrible, and it's still good.
Yeah, well that's it. It's that whole exploitation sort of style of, and Kurt Russell seems to like acting in a lot of those. He keeps getting drawn back into them.
I saw Kurt Russell in a really good movie the other day called, what was it, Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, right.
It's really fucking good.
I might have to.
It's a horror western.
Oh,
I think
I've heard about that. Yeah, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, he is good in westerns. He just fucking looks the part.
Yeah.
He's really good as
Wyatt
Earp in Tombstone.
Oh, okay.
He's good in that because all his friends start dying because of the criminal element, and then he just goes all Wyatt Earp on the ass. He just starts going, I don't care.
Oh, I love those sorts of stories.
It's the bit where they're like pinned down at this river, and they're all out of, they're all the bad guys are shooting across the river, and the good guys are pinned down, and he just is like, no, you killed my brothers. You've shot my friends up. He just stands up with the Winchester underlever and strides across. Just starts wasting them away. None of them they all just kind of miss him. Just happenstance. They just don't quite get him. And just mows them down until the main leader goes like, oh yeah, I'm crazy. I'll take you on. I'm up there. And he just boom, dead.
Yeah.
Takes him down. It's just I love those righteous moments. They are beautiful.
Yeah, I am a big fan of vengeance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And revenge.
Yeah.
It's one. I've never read The Count of Monte Cristo, but I have seen a couple of adaptions, and I do enjoy that sort of story.
Well, the beautiful thing about Tombstone is it's a true story. Wyatt Earp was a real dude.
Oh, I need to watch that now.
Yep.
But yeah, Bone Tomahawk was an interesting one because it's a horror western, and it's not something you see a lot of. You get westerns and you get horror movies, but you don't get horror westerns.
Yeah.
It's about a bunch of cannibal Indians.
Ooh.
And
that sounds horribly racist.
Kurt Russell plays. Well, they have the generic token Indian to say, oh, not all Indians were like this.
Yeah.
And he's played by the Indian sheriff from Longmire, and he's in several things. He's just sort of a career actor.
Yeah.
He's just in lots of little things, but he's always playing sort of minor roles. But I can't think of his name. But he plays it and says, oh, they're troglodytes in the caves. And...
You're troglodytes in them caves, eh?
And...
That was horribly racist, by the way. I'm sorry. That was a really bad impersonation.
What? Of a cowboy?
No, I was going for American Indian, eh?
Oh.
Except for I turned it into more like a Canadian Indian, eh?
Yes,
because I'm like talking like that, but there's similarities. Anyway.
I guess.
Don't eat that grass. Someone peed there, eh?
Yeah, I was going to say you're making them sound stupid, but then I was also read an article the other day that millions of Americans think chocolate milk comes from brown cows, so
Americans.
I think it's something like 50% of Americans don't know, or 49% of Americans don't know where chocolate milk comes from.
That, for a start, the ingredients are written on the fucking packet.
And then 28, well, that's because they're fucking buying it from takeaway shops, man. They don't make it themselves. They go, hey, can I get some of that there chocolate milk.
They don't walk into a supermarket. Yeah, you can buy like a 5-gallon jug of chocolate milk in America.
Yeah,
Actually, 5 gallons isn't as much, is it?
Who's to
only
fucking
like 3 liters.
Who's to fucking say they even read, man?
You're one of them readers, ain't you?
They probably wouldn't even be able to tell if that was chocolate milk or a bottle of cold shit.
It's so strange because there's like so much, like, case in point, we're watching a game that's fundamentally American. So much American culture and so many smart and amazing American persons, I suppose. There's heaps of like Nobel laureates and stuff come out of America, etc. And so many scientific advancements in history. Out of America, but yeah, and yet they're just, I don't know, they're so segregated in so many ways.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, a whopping 7% of Americans still think that chocolate milk comes directly out of a brown cow.
That's just fucking sad.
I mean, are they sure they asked adults?
Yeah, well, that's true. Like, 87% of statistics are made up.
4-year-old Timmy. That being said,
yep.
I'm pretty sure if I asked your 4-year-old, where does chocolate milk come from, he would not tell me from a brown cow.
No, he wouldn't. But that's because I also explain shit like that to him.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, he might say, that Daddy gets the milk and he gets the chocolate powder, but I had to explain to him that it's got cocoa and stuff.
Yeah, but he is not that dumb. I mean,
No,
I am not a big fan of children, but I do think that the way you have been raising your child is good. The way you actually talk to him and describe things and explain shit and not just whatever. Don't speak to me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's because
Sort of,
kids are fucking capable of it, and they like learning. I mean, they don't always have the great attention span, which does get frustrating. But people that don't think that kids can't learn this shit are idiots. And even if they don't understand that, at least when they come across it later, they've already got the terminology. They already go, oh shit, I know that word. That's what it means. They don't have to learn the whole thing from scratch.
Yeah, well, it's that sort of thinking. I mean, my parents weren't perfect, but at least they sort of, they did describe things to us. Like, we never were under the impression that meat did not come from animals. We always knew that this was an animal. We were never this is some sort of special chicken. That doesn't come from the real chicken. Yeah. We're certainly not killing things.
That's one of them laboratory chickens.
I mean, we joke about this, but 30 years down the line, we may well have that laboratory grown meat.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the genetically engineered chicken drumstick the size of my chest. That's fine.
I would be okay if we did, to cure the planet and whatever, we had to, I can't think of the fucking word. I hate this. This is why I need to read more. Designate all the farmland we use for growing cattle or raising cattle and all the rest of it, and dedicating it to growing vegetables and stuff. Yeah. And we just end up with a lot more food. I'd just be okay with that. Was that jackfruit or whatever? That's supposed to look pretty close to, combined with barbecue sauce. It looks pretty close to, kebab meat.
I've never had jackfruit, but a lot of Asia eats lots of jackfruit.
So, I'd probably be okay with it. And then if you have laboratory grown meat, and it's supposed to taste just like normal meat. Yeah. Particularly, and everyone's just like, oh, it doesn't taste like that. But you're like, half of you motherfuckers cover it in sauce and salt anyway. So
you grass-fed beef, motherfucker, and then you go and put it in a barbecue marinade. It's not going to matter. You can't taste the difference. Yeah.
So once we get this stuff, I don't think anyone's going to give too much of a shit.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's pretty crazy with the population growth at the moment and how and food production, like using like the American style of farming, and that's how a lot of the world has been operating. Is this American style sort of coined farming, where they use big motherfucker tractors to pull big motherfucker plows to plow as much land as possible. And you know, if there's a bit of a problem, spray something on it. That there just isn't enough food production using that method to support the populace. There just won't be. Well, mind you,
need to have less kids.
But also,
or have a war.
The sheer amount of waste that most households have.
Oh, yeah.
They just waste so much fucking food. If they didn't waste it, if they only bought as much as they ever needed.
Yeah, it's pretty rough at work too.
Like, I waste very little in my fucking household. Like, occasionally there'll be a bit of leftovers that got forgotten about at the back of the fridge. But otherwise, it's just, the bits that cut off the end of the vegetables, and that's it.
Yeah.
And packaging. That's what's in my bin.
I very rarely waste food as well.
It's just...
I have been known to waste a lot of milk though.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't waste a lot of food. Like, it takes...
Well, milk perishes quite quickly.
This is coming from growing up with Dad using the sniff test. And it's like, I'd go in there and be like, I'm pretty sure this is off, and then I'd smell it, give it to Dad, and Dad would be sniffing it. This is alright.
Well, and very often the bit of milk around the top goes funny.
This is normal food.
Oh, yeah.
Like, food that heats out and stuff. You're like, I'm pretty sure, I reckon this is bad. And then your dad would sniff and be like, nah, this is okay, eat it.
Yeah.
And so, I now I've grown up and I have a cast iron stomach and I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd buy milk and then I'd have, 2 or 3 cereals. And then by the time I go to finish off the milk, it'd be off. And I'd buy milk and then I'd use it once and then it'd never use it again.
Yeah, and yet if you buy a smaller milk, then you have like 2 cereals and it's gone. And you're like, I wanted to have cereal today. I'll have to buy a bigger milk next time.
And then you don't use all the milk.
You don't use it all, yeah.
It's fucking irritating with that.
Yeah.
I damn near have to just fucking
mind you, if
buy
there's a child around,
freeze it.
That does not happen.
Yeah, I know. Children need it. Well, I don't have that problem. And I'm not willing to go find a woman to pop one out so I just don't have the shortage of milk problem.
What are you talking about? You live in like the ghetto, man. You can just leave it out in the street and then some... No, okay. I'm going to stop right there.
It's milk, not crap.
Racist alarms going off in my head. Yeah, it's not chicken or... Oh, God.
Chicken or watermelon.
Oh, God. Oh, dear.
Man, even just the birds around here love watermelon.
Yeah. That's because they're a native species. Okay.
Yeah, the nationally
I'm not racist. I'm really not. I'm a very progressive thinking person.
No, that's bullshit. The nationally representative survey gets more alarming. 48% of respondents admitted they weren't sure where chocolate milk comes from. If this is true across the nation generally, that would be an astounding... Yeah, okay, so they're starting to generalise here, which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Astounding 154,272,000 potential voters who weren't confident enough to guess cows.
Wow. That survey was in the South, wasn't it?
I bet you it was. Unfortunately, this isn't an isolated case of Americans being uninformed about where food comes from. A study in the early 90s found that 20% of adults didn't know that hamburgers are made of meat from cows.
How do they not know that? It's like called a beef patty. Even on the McDonald's ads, they say it's a beef patty. Well, okay, in Australia they do. In fact, in Australia, they like flash a picture of a cow, like an actual Angus beef cow. They're like, look, our burgers have got Angus beef in them. It's a cow. So maybe there's a cultural difference there. I don't know.
This study is weird. Strangely, Innovation Center for U.S. Dairy Study also found that 37% of people secretly drank milk straight out of the container in the fridge, in extremely poor milk fridge etiquette.
So, if you're living by yourself, who the fuck
who gives
cares?
shit? I'd do that at your house.
Oh, motherfucker! Well, even if you're not living by yourself, I mean...
If it's your family, who gives a shit?
Germs. Have you been around my child? You're like, holding a child and then bam!
Does your child drink straight from the milk container?
No, he doesn't actually.
I can't imagine your child being capable of lifting it up to his face.
He can lift it above his head, motherfucker. 3 litres. Up
and then
above
tip
his
it?
head. Oh, he can. He would be able to fucking drink it though. And I would be tempted to fucking hide his little ass. Holy shit.
I can see him trying to, and I can see him tipping it up. I can see him lifting it, because they had that mad toddler strength.
Yeah.
But then tipping it up to his face, and it just pouring everywhere all over him, because he wouldn't have that sort of delicate motor control to be able to tip it just enough to sip.
Yeah, that's right. That is a work in progress. Yeah, but
so he's got mad toddler strength from the days of apehood.
Yeah, it's true.
That was a cool theory, or not a theory, but sort of proof that someone found the other day of, the other day I say, a couple of decades ago, was that person that figured out, probably either before Darwin or after, of taking the little baby and having it grip something.
Oh, the plantar reflex.
Yeah, and holding it up. So, and it proves that we came sort of. One of the things that proved we came from apes, because it had the things that we didn't fall from trees.
Yeah, they do their toes too. Like if you put your
insane.
If you press I was doing it with our friend's child, who was very young. It's probably only like a month or so old. The other day, and just pressing your finger under their toes, and they curl their toes over really really tight. Yeah, it's part of the plantar reflex. It's pretty cool.
So we aren't even that far through evolution that we haven't fully gotten rid of our monkey.
Oh, why should we ever expect that we would? Like,
yeah, true.
Yeah, that's like the foundation layer of our brain. Everything else, our consciousness and all the other shit that we know is built upon that. Without that, you don't have the rest of us. So
I wish we had kept our mad a lot
strength.
More like our monkey strength. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Boom.
Mind you, I mean, there's plenty of people out there that can, start to attain that.
True.
Like with training, you can. It's just like you look at it in orangutan, and it looks like, a middle-aged man's been drinking beer for fucking ever. It's just like the most slovenly looking fucking specimen. And yet it's got like the strength of 10 men. It can just rip your arms out of your sockets without even trying.
We sort of got on a tangent very quickly. I think we should talk about Batman a little bit more. But this game was this is probably the third weakest out of the 4 games. Oh, too quick for you, motherfucker. Because there was Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, and this is Arkham Knight, and it's sort of the weakest of the 3. There was also Arkham Origins, which was an origin story, but it was probably the weakest of the 4. But that was okay because it was made by different people, and I don't like to count it as part of the same trilogy. I like to think of it as a different sort of
punch
Batman game. So sort of part of its own different series. But the Batman in this sort of shares a sort of, not a messiah complex, that's a fucking different character. What is it? A savior complex?
Oh, right, that he's got to save everyone and everything is his fault.
That sort of a thing. From his parents dying. He's got a... Which is sort of presented in... he saves the Joker in Origins, but like I said, I don't like to count it as part of the Asylum canon.
Oh, those dudes were in unison. That was a criminal boy band. That's what it was.
And so, but then at the end of City, when, spoilers, Joker dies because he tries to get the cure from Batman. He tries to steal it from Batman, whereas Batman was just going to give it to him anyway. And Batman sort of, carries him out and lays him on the car, sort of all...
Dead-like.
Yeah. I was thinking of a different word, but And... sort of like, as if Joker was like a fucking damsel sort of thing. Like, Batman's lost love had just been killed in front of him, that sort of way. But... And yeah, Batman goes all moody about it. Like, why would you give a shit that the Joker died? But Batman seems to have this sort of... In this universe, Batman seems to have this sort of complex where he has to save everyone. And then he loses Joker, and then he's just like, oh man, I let someone die. That being said, he doesn't seem to have an issue with, like, so many other people dying in the series.
Yeah.
So he sort of has some sort of hard-on for Joker, which I always find a bit weird.
It's probably like, it's like a Stockholm syndrome, man. No, I was putting not exactly Stockholm
syndrome, but yeah.
But like, your enemy so well that you start, and has been like such a formative part of your personality for so long, as well, maybe.
Oh, I suppose, but I mean, I'm more. Like, I'm more of a Punisher sort of a dude.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with the Punisher sort of killing his enemies. It's like, oh, well, if you kill a murderer, then there's still the same amount of murderers in the world. And he's like, well, that's why you kill more than one, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, Batman, at least in this universe, I don't know how much, like, the extensive comic knowledge, but I don't know that he, invests a heap of money in sort of crime preventative schemes.
Yeah.
I know he, like, does a heap of philanthropy and just buys businesses up, which is how he makes so much money. But I don't think he's bought a whole heap of prisons and then sort of got them doing rehabilitation centres, copying Sweden.
Yeah.
And that sort of, like, those sort of places, or Iceland or whatever. I know that, like, in the Batman Batman The Dark Knight Rises, he sort of lost all his money trying to get into...
I should have just turned into...
renewable energy schemes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool, because that's the kind of thing that Batman would do, the way they sort of describe him. But, yeah, it's just... It's odd that they wouldn't have him do that. If you really wanted to clean up crime, you would choose rehabilitation and preventative methods, yeah. But he just sort of seems to stick with the age-old prison system.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose it's also part of the Batman games, etc. And that. Well, they all sort of stem from, like, his original his mythology. Like, when was Batman actually created, etc. Like, there's still a certain amount of old-fashioned mindset to the...
Yeah, that is true.
He's an old character. He's been around for a fucking long time. And it has evolved over the years, but there's still sort of a fundamental...
I'm pretty sure he killed people in his original comics as well.
I think he had a gun,
He used a gun, yeah. And it's sort of like, as it evolved, they got rid of it. Yeah. It didn't take long for them to get rid of it, but at the same time, they still got rid of it.
Yeah, so there is a degree of evolution, but he's still...
He's way more high-tech, too. Back in the day, he was just some prick with a...
utility belt.
Utility belt and a grappling gun. Like, that's all. And he was just a dude in a fucking latex suit sort of shit. And now he's got all this fucking high-tech shit. Like, look at that.
Yeah, dog.
Oh, non-lethal round, motherfucker.
But, that was a non-lethal explosion.
But it's interesting is that a lot of people gave the Batman vs Superman movie shit. I mean, I liked it, and there were bits. Yeah, but I mean, there's bits in those movies, canon. Like Wonder Woman's supposed to be fairly good, and I'll be enjoying to go see it. But and it's what I think. Tellingly, it is like the only movie in the DC cinematic universe canon that hasn't been directed by Zack Snyder. So that sort of tells you something. But it's Batman... Well, I have bigger bugbears with those movies, like Jonathan Kent be willing to die in a hurricane than have his son expose his powers. Yeah. It sort of shows you a closed-minded fearful individual, a really conservative-minded. That, you know, he's that terrified that his son would be sort of exposed as this illegal alien sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
I hate to think what he'd do if he was gay.
yeah, I know. I just think that Jonathan Kent was just sick of dealing with his son and just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
It was just a fucking stupid idea. It was just a stupid movie. Otherwise, I really like that movie. I like having Superman as not this perfect individual. I've always hated Superman. I'm not a big Superman fan. I'm not big on those, like, you know, invincible
those
characters.
ones did a lot for him as well, for me as well, though. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I don't
prefer
like the
that.
all powerful kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have had people go, "Oh, well, it's Superman. He's supposed to be, you know, the best in all of us," and I fucking hate that sort of that story. But I did like those movies that sort of showed him as a bit more. I know they're gritty, but it sort of showed him younger, and, you know, not all powerful, and he's slowly becoming, you know, the ideal poster boy for Superman. But, you know, he sort of had to come from somewhere. He wasn't always perfect.
Yeah.
That sort of a thing.
Well, and they maintain the whole way through that he isn't perfect. You know,
Yeah.
and he never feels that he is.
And I mean,
Even
there's
though
also
he feels that people want him to be.
yeah, and, you know, there's also the bit where and, you know, the mindless destruction by Zod and Superman I didn't have an issue with, because, you know, what are you supposed to do?
Well,
Superman's just this, like, brand new superhero off the chopping block sort of
He's
thing.
barely learnt to use his powers.
Yeah, he's still green, and then here comes this general that's sort of just, you know, has no issue blowing people up. And you're like, well, how?
Yeah, what else is he supposed to do?
Yeah, and there's only so much for that sort of, there are people around here, we should go somewhere deserted. From Dragon Ball Z comes about.
Well, I think he does try to, anyway, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He tries to take
I don't think Zod was going to agree to that.
Yeah.
It's like, if you just go, no, fuck it, we're going to fight here. I don't care how many people die.
Yeah.
And, you know, Superman isn't more powerful than Zod at that sort of time. So how he wouldn't be able to knock him in somewhere that was more deserted.
Yeah, that's right.
And they do bring it back in the second movie where Batman sort of saves a heap of people, and it shows you the mindless destruction where it first sort of starts playing into Batman's paranoias.
Yeah,
and
I thought it was good that when they showed, like, the laser cutting down the building, that was actually, like, that was Zod's laser.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Superman's
laser. Yeah.
But it from Batman's point of view, it is Superman's laser.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't. Yeah.
He doesn't know any different. But I like how people sort of...
in that movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the sort of thing that people also had a whinge about, like, and the whole Martha thing. That sort of throws Batman off. But the thing is, it's really played up. Is Batman's psyche isn't the most amazing thing in the world.
Yeah, he's always been
he is an unhinged individual.
Yeah.
That's sort of why he sort of plays into that whole, if I kill Joker, then that's it. I will never come back from that. And it's sort of, most people would go, you know, that's not that bad. You know, like, you could just kill Joker and that would be it. You could, you know, the others could probably be rehabilitated, but it sort of goes to show you how unhinged Batman's psyche truly is.
Yeah.
Because if he did, that would just be it. It sort of shows you a mind that is just constantly on the tipping point.
Yeah.
He's just always on this sort of knife edge, and any sort of push in either in the wrong direction will just send him off the edge.
Yeah. He's fundamentally unhinged
individual.
Yeah.
So he's
basically ruled by fear.
Yeah, basically. He has to maintain that perfect discipline, otherwise he will just snap.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's always how I've thought of Batman. That's why I quite like him as a character, because he's... some people think he's boring because they just see him as this sort of, you know, perfect, disciplined poster boy for greatness, but he's not. Yeah. He's just this ruled by fear, incredibly unhinged individual.
Yeah. And he's also not super.
Yeah.
He's just...
a dude in a
dude
suit.
in a suit. Yeah. Which I suppose, so is Iron Man.
Yeah, but I mean, he's sort of the Batman of that universe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's not perfect either. He's a
No, heck no.
chauvinistic, alcoholic, arrogant son of a bitch.
Yeah. Fuck that shit. Yeah.
And then it's sort of, and then it also shows, because Dick Grayson had both of his family members murdered. And even in this game, it sort of lampshades that. And Dick Grayson ended up as a perfectly sort of, with a few issues, as, being raised by Batman would.
Yeah.
He's still a fairly well-adjusted individual, but Batman is not. Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
It's even implied in several cases that Batman doesn't refer to himself as Bruce Wayne in his head. He refers to himself as Batman. When people go to try and do hallucinations
Bruce Wayne is
and
the
stuff.
alter ego, not.
Yeah, they use they have him refer to himself as Bruce Wayne in his head.
Mm.
At which point Batman can immediately tell that is not, this isn't real, because that's not how he refers to himself in his head. Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. Batman is the
Actual person.
the person.
Yeah. And if you're flying around like that, fuck yeah, that's the real me.
I was going to go finish up here and fly up there, but then I heard about a riot down here, and I was like, not on my fucking turf, you ain't. This is my home, motherfuckers. Oh, that dude got a cheap hit in.
Son of a bitch.
This video didn't go long enough. There was more stuff I wanted to chat about. We'll have to do another Batman video. Oh, fucking whoa.
Oh, is it nearly... Yeah, oh, it is. It's nearly up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well... Just had too much fun. Just too much fun talking shit.
But yeah, Batman's just sort of. I mean, looking at this would be interesting to see the new Spider-Man game that's coming out, which is basically using the same engine mechanics and combat mechanics that this game is using.
Yeah, I suppose because they've perfected the web and shit with the grapple gun and that.
Yeah.
Except for hopefully they'll have the two
the really cool stuff.
Games. Was it the old games or the?
Yeah. One of the a couple of the old games.
Yeah.
And it'll be even better
snap!
for the diving around the arena. It won't just look like Batman's just sort of jumped from one point to the next. Like Spider-Man can actually leap around the battlefield like that.
Yeah, because he is super.
Yeah. Although his superpoweredness is sort of overplayed in a lot of the movies. Particularly the Tobey Maguire. No, as in the damage. That's actually one of the few things that he actually has, is that he does have super endurance. He also has super strength.
Yeah.
And super reflexes and the Spidey sense, but he can't actually
shoot
the web.
Yeah,
he has the intelligence to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's a tough fighting crime.
Yeah. That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah. I think I'd be okay with that being my life.
Yeah. I suppose, because you got the Bruce Wayne side as well, so you kind of get to, have a bit of other fun.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be as much of a moody cunt.
Yeah. Alright, we'll end it there. Ciao. Deja vu.
Shut up. They don't know it's replaying.
Yes, they do.
I can't remember what button the records is.
Smash them all.
Oh, shit.
Smash them all.